and then you had the likes of Artful Dodger and whatnot just trying to rizz up ladies in the crowd rather than actually perform.
Welcome to Crave the Rave, a naughty podcast for old school ravers who need a fix of the rave. I'm Lady Bizarre.
And I'm Jess the Mess.
On each episode, we'll be reminiscing over hilarious, embarrassing, and downright mental stories from our raver days. Think trippy tales, fezzy fails, and stories from the sesh. We've seen, heard, and done it all, and we bet you have too. So join us for a trip down memory lane. Hello, and welcome to Crave the Rave. All right, Jess?
Hello, Lara. I actually get so excited for our recordings. I just love chatting to you. It's always a good laugh.
I'm cracking up now. All I'm thinking is what you just said before we went live, which is I look like a fat frog.
I do. I look like a fat frog. But actually, talking about fat, I have been losing weight because I'm going on holiday soon. And
You don't look fat.
Well, it's just the jumper and it's the angle of the camera. I'm so glad that the video doesn't go out because I always look so rank and this is not a good angle of me.
You don't actually have a neck at this angle, it's true.
The thumb man. Have you seen that picture of the man that looks like a thumb?
Oh, I don't like things like that.
Well, you might not like my next story.
Oh, God, okay, go on.
Well, basically, I wanted to tell you, when you're back, we have to do what I did yesterday. So I'm trying to lose weight and I signed up for this bungee class.
Bungee?
It's like a bungee exercise.
Like a bungee jump, like what you're jumping.
Like you've got a bungee attached to your back.
Oh.
And then you do all stretches and stuff. And you do a little routine, right? So yesterday, I go down to this place. It's quite close to my house. Go in and there's this sweet girl there. So excited about it. But she's large, like very large, yeah.
Okay.
And she's all excited and she's all bubbly and she's chatting to everyone. And like, people won't believe this of me, but I actually fucking hate talking to strangers. Like, I hate small talk. Whenever I do yoga, I'm like, I don't really talk to anybody. I'm the first to leave. Like, I'm not there to make friends. Obviously, if they talk to me, I'll chat back, but I just hate chatting to strangers. Ugh. Anyway, she's like chatting to everybody and I'm talking back to her a bit and she was just really sweet. Anyway, the lady comes out and she's like, right, time to get in the harness. Puts the harness out in front of me. I step into it. Ties me up. All good. She goes to this poor girl. Right. Oh, I've got the harness here, but don't worry. If you need a bigger one, I've got a bigger one somewhere. Don't worry. Step into this. Oh, squeeze. Yeah. I can get this on. Yeah, I can just about get this on. Right. So she gets the harness on. Tick. What surprised me was the girl's vape fell out, and I just did not have her as a vapor. Like,
Wait. I thought she was a child.
no, I say girl, but she was probably like mid-20s.
Oh
yeah?
my God, you made it sound like she was a kid. Okay, you said she was a sweet little girl, so excited.
Okay, no. She was just a sweet woman, okay?
Okay.
All right, well, she was a sweet woman. I don't know how old, maybe 27, 28?
Whole story just changed, okay.
Okay, so she was a very large woman.
I've got that bit.
You know those people in life that are just sweet and innocent and will be to the day they die? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but she had a vape, so I mean, not so innocent.
The vape threw me. It didn't have her down as a vapor. I mean, that just shows you how bad vapes are. They even get the sweethearts like her.
She
Anyway,
could be
so
into
then
like
the-
rampant BDSM. You have no idea what's going on behind those doors.
No, you're right. Yeah, no, you're right. She could be, but I fucking highly doubt it.
Okay.
So anyway, the woman's like, don't worry, I've got a bigger one if you need it. Oh, no, fine, you're squeezed into here, fine. Then we go into the room and then like you've got to have like a bungee cord tied from the ceiling to your harness.
Okay.
And the woman gets out the bungee cord and she eyes up the larger woman. So the woman that's doing the session eyes up the larger woman. And she's like, yeah, you're going to need like quite a lot of bungee. Yeah, okay. So then she whips out this like mega strong bungee thing. Anyway, me and the other girl have to have like 3 strands of bungee and this other girl's got like 8 strands of bungee.
Strands of bungee, okay.
Yeah, it's like different amounts of bungee for different weights, yeah? So then we start doing the thing and this poor girl, she just can't do it. She's too big. She can't go from like on her feet down to the floor, like hands down, legs down, and then jump back up in one jump, back up. There's just the physics of the body weight to the bungee. And the poor girl, the woman kept being like, come on, you can do it. You're overthinking it. And I was thinking, oh, it's not that. And then the woman doing the session, she was saying things like, you know, you've got all this weight that you've got to pick up. Come on, you've got all this weight. Like, you're a bigger person. Come on, you can do it. Just let the bungee do the work. And this poor girl was trying. The woman was like, do it again. And she just couldn't get it. It wasn't happening. Anyway, it really broke my heart because she went from being the most excited person in the room.
Oh.
Meanwhile, I am so bad at like a dance routine. It's unbelievable. I have no rhythm at all. But on this bungee, it's so fun. So you'll be like standing up, squat down, jump up, squat down. And in the end, you're doing things like running and lifting up off the floor, like really high and swinging back.
That's cool.
Or like swinging around on one foot. So you twirl really fast on one foot.
Is everyone not hitting into each other though? Like,
no, there's enough space in between you all. There was only 3 of us in the class.
Oh.
So I did that yesterday and that was amazing. I highly recommend it. So next time you're back, can we do that together?
Yeah.
And the other thing I did was aerial yoga. Have you heard of that before?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So you get like a silk hammock in front of you and then you do all the thing. But I'm so flexible.
I was going to say, I cannot picture you doing that at all.
I'm bad. It took me 10,000 attempts just to like do one basic move, but I got there in the end. But I can't move like other people. It's like I've got tight joints. I don't think I can touch my toe.
Really?
Yeah, so anyway, so I did that as well, and that was really fun. But what I really loved about it was, and it reminded me of this, is that there was a pose that we did where you hang upside down for a while with your hands down.
I know what you're going to say.
Do you remember I used to always say when I was fucked, after the sesh, I just want someone to stretch my body out upside down. And Ashley used to try and pick me up by my legs and dangle me. It never worked. I mean, he's strong, but he's not that fucking strong. And I used to always like dream of having like clips on the ceiling where I could put my feet in, like the wrong trousers. Wallace and Gromit, the wrong trousers.
So you're into the rampant BDSM, actually, it's you.
Well, it seems I am, but I just wanted to like hang upside down for a bit because I think after like raving where you're all like grotty and down, I just wanted to like all the gravity to go the other way and pull me down.
Oh my God,
So that was really fun. In fact, we did actually do that at Glastonbury the year when you were there, when me and Ash went on this like inversion therapy, where they call it that. Basically, you get clamped into a thing and you get turned upside down, all the blood runs to your head. But it literally was like a dream come true.
Yeah, I can't believe you actually manifested that in real life at Glastonbury.
Yeah, I know. Well, you should have seen the man with his little, oh, bless him. I think like the Glastonbury traders, they've obviously been going for years and Glastonbury have kept true to them. It's quite sweet. But like he was like this old higgledy-piggledy man in the back of who lived on a caravan. And I was like, have you ever done yoga? And he was like, yoga? What's yoga? And then I said to him, oh, do you have one of these in your house? Like the device that I was on being upside down. He was like, this is my house. And it was like a little wooden round caravan. And I was like, oh, right, all year round. And he was like, yeah, this is where I live. Which made me laugh, but yeah.
Oh my
so I just
God.
thought I'd update you on that because when you come back, we can do those things together. They're really fun.
Oh my God, I want to do that. That's so good. All right, nice.
The annoying thing about you is you'll be really good at it,
Obviously.
and I'll think I'm really good at it, but I'm shit.
I want to go just to laugh at you, to be honest.
Anyway, that was my update of what I've been up to. Not exactly riveting, but that's all I've been doing.
Nice. I don't have much to report, to be honest. Well, loads, but nothing that interesting for the pod because I've just been training to be a dance teacher and it's really intense.
You should train to be a bungee dance teacher, then it'd be really intense.
Everything I'm doing right now, but just upside down. So we have a slightly different episode today because we had a listener, a guy called Baldy, who's an MC from Manchester, and he got in touch with us because he wanted to tell us about his experience recently of a rave Garage Nation. It's like a festival, really. I think I went about like 9 years ago and about 10 years ago. I've been a couple times. You haven't been though, Jessie, have you?
No, I've not been.
And he sent us a voice note telling us a little bit about his experience. So I'm going to play it here for you on the pod.
Well, hello and good morning from the UK. Yeah, so in regards to Garage Nation, I was let down. I went to go and get an education in garage. The origins, all these original DJs and MCs, and instead they just played the same tracks from each other about three times. 3 times or more in a set. It wasn't even garage; it was just house music. The Ibiza tunes. And then you had the likes of Artful Dodger and whatnot just trying to rizz up ladies in the crowd rather than actually perform. There was a little bit of jungle played. I enjoyed that. Don't get me wrong, but it felt like I was the only one who enjoyed it really. So yeah, well, I won't be going back to Garage Nation anytime soon. It just felt more like one of them corporate events that you work at hospitality rather than an actual rave. Thoroughly disappointed.
Oh, I love him. I love the fact that he's taken the time to give us his voice note. And I feel like, actually, if anybody else wants to have a little review of a rave or a place that they've been to, send them in.
Yeah, we love hearing from you guys. And just to add, he sent a couple of other messages, which made me laugh, because he said, and then didn't appreciate having champagne sprayed over me like I'm some dickhead.
Oh.
Yeah, I was not impressed, and there was minimal skanking on the dance floor from the audience. And then he was also saying about Artful Dodger was trying to tell the girls in the crowd that he'd be playing in Tenerife soon rather than actually performing.
I love that he went there for an education in garage. His intentions are so sweet.
Yeah, he wants to see the OGs perform and get inspiration.
Yeah, good for him.
I love that.
Same.
And he also added, actually, he said, I did learn some things from them guys to apply to my own journey as an MC, but I'd hate to become like them if I ended up performing at a future version of Garage Nation, which I love. He's just upfront.
Yeah, go on, Baldy. Do you know what this reminds me of? And I banged on about it and I'm not going to do it again. Was Raver Tots. Exactly the same. Promised these DJs from back in the day. The same tunes were played over and over again. The performances were fucking poor. It was embarrassing. I love garage. I've gone on and on about that and how much it's always got a place in my heart. But if you go to see it live, you expect a fucking show with it. And that's what was so good about garage back in the day. That it was a bit of a show with the MCs and everything going on. And the last thing you want to do is go and see some washed up people spraying champagne. Oh my God. Honestly, it would make me mad. I'd go and get that champagne bottle and get up and smack them around the head with it. Who the fuck do they think they are?
Whoa, okay, that escalated. I mean, to be honest, that wouldn't actually make me that mad. I wouldn't. It'd be annoying if it was in my hair and stuff like that. I guess that would kind of be annoying.
But it's just what do you think I am? A pauper? You're spraying the champagne over me? What era are we in?
I'm just thinking about Corrupt FM though. They do that, and that's part of their show, and I guess people expect it from them. But do you think that's because
it's different? They're taking the piss and they've got energy when they perform, and they're Corrupt are a whole different ballgame when it comes to who, compared to who I can imagine was at Garage Nation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Leave that to Corrupt then. That's what Corrupt do. So leave it to Corrupt.
Yeah. That's never been my thing, the whole champagne thing. I remember when I went to Vegas once, I saw some really odd things. I just saw quite a lot of really rich foreign tourists buying bottles of champagne and then just spraying them over people in the pool. And then there was one guy, some Asian guy, that took a wad of $1 bills and just threw them to us paupers in the pool at this Vegas party.
Did you go for him? Did you try and get him? I know you.
I got $6. I was like, fuck it. I was like, oh, I hate this. And I was like, well, it is raining money right now. I may as well grab a few notes.
I know what you're like. I bet you got on that thingy, on that rubber ring, and paddled as fast as you could to get that on you. Oh, that's brilliant.
What was crazy about that party as well is that unless you had a table, there was nowhere to sit down, and the security would come over and say you weren't allowed to sit on the edge of the pool. You had to be standing or you had to be in the pool. Otherwise, you had to pay for a table. No sitting. It was nuts. I was like, this place sucks. Also, you can't get shit in Vegas for $6.
What was his mindset? He thought, oh, I know what would be good now. I'll just get loads of $1 and throw them out. Like, why? What joy? Would you get joy from? Yeah, you would get joy from seeing everyone scramble around for the money.
That, it must have just been an ego, like, status thing. Like, look what I've got. Like, $50 in $1 bills, and let's watch the people scramble.
I bet he followed that up by getting a 50. No, probably another bloody dollar, and then setting it on fire and lighting a cigar with it.
Cigars cringe me out so hard.
Yeah, of course they do.
No, I've got a friend.
But how
actually,
often do you see someone smoking a cigar?
No, okay, so he does sometimes listen to the pod, so I'm sorry if you're listening, you're going to know who you are, but I've just got to say it. Like, there's a friend of mine that I know from, like, the sales space, and his whole Instagram, I consider him as, like, a younger guy. He's in his 20s. He's very successful now. He's doing a good job, I think.
He's smoking a fucking cigar, he must be.
Yeah, I mean, according to Instagram, he's doing well, and his lifestyle, it would seem. But every Instagram story is, like, just his hand with a watch and a cigar and maybe some girls in the background, or, like, posing with a car, like a fancy car, smoking a cigar. If I see that shit on a dating site or anywhere, actually, I'm like, sick in my mouth, like, instant, like, swipe left. It could not dry me up anymore.
No, ick.
Ick central. But it's funny, like, I guess some girls get really turned on by that and money and just that whole...
I don't think so.
Some girls, I think.
No, I think he's turning himself on with that cigar and that money. I don't think a girl's gonna go, oh, he's got nice cigar breath and he smokes a Cuban cigar, he must be fucking wadded. Nah. Okay, if he buys you a handbag and all that sort of thing, then he's loaded. But the cigar don't show wealth. They're not even that fucking expensive.
They're gross. I absolutely hate the smell of them, and I feel like they create the smell spreads so far. I'm always like, is someone smoking DMT or something? Like, what is that dirty foul smell? And then I'm like, oh no, it's like a cigar, like 20 meters away, and I can smell it. It's disgusting. Ugh.
Yeah, I think it's quite pointless because you don't even inhale a cigar, do you? So it's like, you love the taste of that? I can think of 10,000 things you could put in your mouth right now that are much, much, much tastier than the fucking end of that burnt out fucking cigar. Why?
Oh no. What do you think about, like, watches and cars as, like, status symbols? I know we're going a little bit off topic, but seeing as we went from champagne to cigars to, like, this, I think it's important to chat about this because I feel really strongly about this. Like, okay, let me ask you this. Let's say, hypothetically, you're single again, so we'll go back in time, you're single. And
you could just say before I was with Ashley, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, I remember. I mean, it seems like a distant memory now.
Yeah, you remember.
I was there for the trials and tribulations. Like, let's say you met a guy, you thought he was cool, I don't know, in the rave or wherever, and then he said, oh, I'll come pick you up, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, he's got a car, that's a tick, we like that. And then he shows up in, like, I don't know, an orange Ferrari.
For me, it's just an absolute no. You know my type. I like someone that looks a bit homeless, acts a bit homeless, lives on a shoestring. Someone that is not, like, in any way pretentious.
Yeah.
I need someone genuine. It's not about that life for me. I know that a lot of women like it, but it is so far from what I'm into. And, like, I work in an industry where I meet a lot of wealthy people. And I always find it insane that the customers who are the wealthiest, they literally look like they're the beggars off the street. And then you've got a couple of people that have just come into money and they're the ones dripping in the designer. We learnt really early on, you learn really early on in my industry that, like, when you meet whoever walks through the door, you treat as business, you treat as the client. Well, you treat as the client because you can't tell who's the client or not based on how they look. Because, as I said, honestly, some of the wealthiest clients that we've had are just dressed in jogging bottoms with holes in.
Fruit of the loom.
Fruit of the loom, exactly. Not even that, mate, I think some of them. And I like that. That's what I'd rather be about. I'd rather be rich and dressed, not head to toe in Chanel. Although, fuck that, actually, I'd like a bit of Chanel. But do you know what I mean? So yeah, for me, it's not a turn on. What about you?
So yeah, well, you know what I think about this also. I have literally got no time for it. Like, the thing is as well, I will say, for me, I look at wealth slightly differently now because, you know, I'm thinking if I get into a relationship, I want it to be someone that I'm going to have a future with, and I really want to make sure that, obviously, I want a family. Like, I may not be able to date the people that I used to date who really, like, I don't see how, you know, we would figure out building a family and stuff. Maybe, you know, for love, anything's possible. But, you know, like, it's something that I consider more than I have in the past. Does that mean that I want someone that's fucking that's dropped like 40k on a Rolex and is going to rock up like scoot in like some cringy fucking sports car where like that is...
I don't think any sports car is going to make the sound doot, doot.
I was trying to go skirt. It's more like brum.
I still don't think any sports car, no matter what it costs, is going to go doot, doot. Scoot.
Oh man, in my head it was...
Is it Peppa Pig's car?
It came out a little bit more like a bit squeakier than I'd planned. No, it's not for me.
But no, I know what you're saying. It's just not for me. It's not a turn on and it's not a one. But yes, I do want someone with a good credit score. And I do want someone that can put in half the mortgage. And I do want someone that goes to work and can pay the bills and afford to take me on holiday.
Yeah.
But I want somebody that can do that as much as I want to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I want to be able to buy Chanel if I want to buy Chanel and all the nice things. And yes, I'd love a little treat from them every now and again, but I don't want someone that's flashy.
That's it.
Because it doesn't mean anything to me. Because like I said, doesn't matter what you're showing off. I don't think that means you're a nice person or that you're even actually that wealthy, to be honest.
Yeah.
And wealth to me doesn't necessarily mean just money. It means all the other factors in life. And therefore, I've always considered myself wealthy because I've got my family around me and I can put my heating on and I can afford a holiday a year and all the other things, whereas some people, probably the people driving around these sports cars or whatever they are and with the Rolex watches, will probably not think that I'm wealthy, but I don't see it like that.
Amen, sister. I know, totally. And I might sound a little bit judgmental, and this probably isn't the case always, but in my experience, I have noticed personally that often, if that is the case where it's like super flashy, there's like a real like hole. Like, where is their actual self-worth? Like, really, like when you take away all of those flashy things that show who they are or how like valuable they are, like really, like how much do they love like themselves and how much do they feel worthy in themselves without all that stuff? Because sometimes those things are just there to like bridge a gap in the material world because something is lacking within. Is my feeling.
Mad that we got all the way through this just from talking about a cigar. So men, we don't like it.
Yeah, fuck it. If you're listening.
We don't like it. Don't smoke your cigars near us.
Yeah, and sell your sports car and take me to Barbados. Okay?
Hey. So going back to Baldy.
Yeah, let's get back to Baldy.
He made some good points there. But we also went on to ask him, because he was so opinionated and we loved it, what does the perfect raver mean to you? And we got a fantastic response. Do you want to read it, Lara?
Yeah, go on then. So he basically said, it's based off like what my friends have said who are in the industry in terms of DJing, both male and female alike. The rave is for dancing, not to go risen up and flirting with women, which, Jessie, we've spoken about a fair bit, right? Because we don't tend to go to the rave to pull. Right? We go to party.
It may happen, and you do a bit of flirting at a rave, but you're not there to pull or to... You're not there to flirt.
Yeah, that's not the purpose of going, right?
By the way, I love that he's constantly doing research.
Research? Oh, right.
Well, he said he's asked his friends in the industry.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
You asked him a question, and he went and did his research. I hope this guy's doing a PhD somewhere. On raving.
Well, he's an MC, so yeah, he's deep in it. I love it. I love the energy. And he says, when booking a rave, you've made an active choice to go out and have a fun time. Therefore, you leave your problems at the door. Otherwise, you're only crapping on your own good time. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think he's right to a point. Like, I remember being at a festival once and one of our close friends was going through a hard time at work. And she'd had a couple of lines and she intensely talked at me about the issues at work whilst in the drum and bass tent at a festival. And like,
oh man,
I couldn't get away from her. And I was trying to get round like tall people so that she couldn't get to me. And like, it was just, I just felt like saying, I'm sorry you're going through some shit at work, but I don't need to know why Jackie in the HR team is fucking grinding your gears. I want to zone out. I want to listen to the music. I want us to all face the front because I fucking hate when people turn around, and I don't like it when people talk in the rave. And I just want to zone out and have some fun. And you're telling me about your work.
Yeah.
So I'm really sorry about, and a bit like, I know it's bad, but like if someone goes through like a breakup or something like that, and like it is good to go and rave it off, but I can imagine that, you know, sometimes you might see an ex-partner there. That puts a down on everything. In fact, you and me in Ibiza, when you fell out with your girlfriend, you were down the whole fucking time, and I'm trying to get you to have a good time at Amnesia, and it weren't happening.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, there's nothing you could do about that. You were down, and we were in Ibiza, like, we had to go out. But at the same time, it spoils the night. So, yeah, I agree with him. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, yeah. It's hard, right? Because you want to go out and you want to shake it off. And I think, like, if you're going to do that, probably just be mindful of, like, having those kind of conversations unless someone is inviting you to talk about it, because then that's kind of overspilling onto, like, their experience. So it's a hard one, because obviously we should always feel like we can talk to our friends and have a safe space. And there are boundaries. And I just don't think, like, in the drum and bass tent, facing with your back to the DJ is
4 a.m.
is the time or the place, you know?
Yeah.
That's it, right? Yeah. And so Baldy adds there, I have no formal dance training, but you best believe I just do what feels good when dancing, and that energy is felt. I like that.
Well, I think it'd be really fucking weird if someone that did have formal dance training took that into the rave with them and was like, and a 1, 2, 3, and 4, and pivot, and down, and up, and round, and up, and down, and down, and up, and... Like, that would be fucking weird. In fact, I'd quite like to see that.
I do it. Now where I've been zooking, you can zook to drum and bass. You can zook to a drum and bass beat. No, but I don't do it with actual choreo, like choreographed moves, and I don't do counting.
I'm just imagining back streets back, all right.
Okay, her hands are in the air, guys. So, right, I feel that, yeah. So just moving your body with what feels good, totally. Anything goes in the rave. Just move it, shake it, groove it, groove it. Okay, no constant phone videoing, and that's in capital letters.
Amen.
Yeah.
We've covered this over and over again. It will be brought up again and again in the future because it's such a big deal. But yeah, we hear you. We agree. In our era, it wasn't a thing. And it's disgusting that it's such a thing now. So
yeah,
I hear you.
It's brutal, man. You look at videos like from raves and stuff, and it's like just a sea of phones. Like, it's nuts. But yeah, he says it goes in and it stays in my pocket. All right, I like it.
Good man.
And then he says, I'm not shy about going right to the front, where in today's age, you'll find there's usually this weird arc of space that's left open.
Absolutely. The crust. You have to get through the crust to get to the space at the front.
Yeah. 100%. I've always said that, like, whenever there's like a crowd, especially in like carnival or like a festival tent or whatever, if you just get through the mayhem that's like the outskirts, the outside area, like
crust.
The middle. All right, I didn't know it had a name, but apparently you've given it a name. The crust, but also the core of the pizza is kind of dense, but there's a space right at the front where there's always like a lot more space because people are too like shook to go there thinking it's going to be crushing. But yeah, there's more space. There's usually more space by the speakers, so totally hear that. And then he says, I'm always polite. I'll never shove past. This makes me laugh, actually. It's so cute. I always do a universal, open quote, pardon me old chums, close quote. That's how he pushes through the crowd. Lol. How do you push through a crowd, Jessie?
I bop up and down because if you dance through the crowd, you can get through. If you walk through the crowd, you can't. So I hold the hand of the other person and I dance through. And because I'm quite small, I go first, and that will lead the way for the others behind me. So yeah, just as long as you're dancing, you're good.
Yes, hold hands, right? That's the trick. Always hold hands, keep close, and just keep going. And once you've... Or do you know what I do sometimes? If I know we want to start moving forward, if you see another group or a couple other people going through, just get in their slip line, like on a bike, you go behind them to catch their wind. Go behind them and like shimmy through on with them because they've already created a path for you, right?
Yeah.
And then he says he's always there to support his homies who are performing. I'll big them up to promoters and other DJs without being asked. And same goes for promoting events for things I like as well. I also, and I love this so much, he also says, I also have absolutely no care for what your race, creed, colour, sex, gender
Love
is.
him. Sorry, but Baldy, you are an absolute hero. You're a typical raver. You're a fucking great raver, mate.
Yeah, he says, in the rave, it's all one love style. If you're all right with me, I'm all right with you.
Absolutely.
And then this is sweet. He said, then finally, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I'm a funny and interesting chap. I like to think so anyway. Bring in the vibes. That's my power.
Baldy, what a gent. What a raver. You're in the club, bruv. Honestly, this is what it's about. And it's people like you that make my life happy. Just knowing that you're out there, having your little thing. Pissed off when the champagne sprayed on you. I don't blame you. But happy when you see your mates having a good time. You know what? You're a sweetheart. And if you ever want to come to a Crave the Rave gig in the future, you're more than welcome.
Yes. Yeah, that's Baldy. His MC name's Outlaw Liquor. And he says, I asked if he was cool to share his name, and he said, a man must stand by his words.
Amen.
So there we go.
Well, do you know what? This is a good point then. So let's talk about what makes a good raver then. What do you think, love?
Oh, I mean, he's literally identified quite a few points
he's done well
there. But I do think just being polite, being Cuban, treating people with respect, you know, like...
Being Cuban? I mean, I thought we were happy with all different races. We don't have to just be Cuban.
Cuban cigars. No.
At the Cuban rave.
No, I said being human.
Okay.
I think it sounded being Cuban. Oh, yeah. Being human.
Also, like, as I'm getting older, like, the politeness is so... It was always important to me because I'm a very polite person, but, like, just saying sorry if they bump into somebody hard, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Just making sure that if you put your drink down or something, it's still there, or, you know, you put your handbag down for a minute, it's still there, like, or if you've got a bag on the floor, which you always do, Lara, which is so annoying, telling people so they don't trip over it, you know? Like, there's just so many things that aren't a big deal, which make you a nice person. And to be honest, that's where the raving crew is so fucking nice, because people do care, and there's always one or two dickheads, but they don't stay the ravers. They're the ones that got coaxed out by their mates and they're not having a good time. Because if you're having a good time, it is all about loving everybody and the music and having a good fucking time. So I feel like that's what I fell in love with when I fell in love with raving, was the scene that went with it. And all right, everyone's peeled up and on it and whatever. I mean, I think it's a wonderful place to be peeled up. But, you know, it's the fact that everyone cares for each other. They're there to let loose. We're good people in society. And we can show that by bringing it together in a massive crowd. I fucking love it. And I feel like, for me, there were so many times where I met people that have always stuck in my mind because they were just safe human beings. And Baldy, I reckon you would have been one of them.
Totally, 100%. We would have definitely been hanging out on the stairs at Fabric Club in London with him on the stairs smoking a ciggy.
I'll probably be patting his head like a bongo.
Yeah, that was more your style. You take him under your wing.
I would. I took a lot of people under my wing in the days. Let's talk about that, actually. I've got a story for you. So years ago when I was 17, I went to a rave with Nat, and we were quite like nervous about things like buying pills and all that sort of thing. And we met these two girls called Faye and Lorna, and they were 24. So at 17, they seemed like proper adults. And they helped us buy pills, and it made sure it was safe because they had bought them from this stranger a few minutes earlier.
Super safe.
They looked after us the whole time. They were so lovely, so welcoming, and they drove us home afterwards. And all the way to our door. And I remember I was going to be sick in the back seat, and Nat got me an empty 10 deck of cigarettes and said, puking this. I was like, that's not going to cut the mustard. That's not going to do it. Anyway, they pulled over and let me be sick. But they were the loveliest people. I've never forgot them. So hopefully one day I can meet Faye and Lorna again, because they're amazing.
Oh, that's amazing.
I know. That was like one of the first raves. And if that's what happens to me on the first rave, I mean, that's what set me up for raving in the future.
Yeah, I think like good community, right? Like a sense of safety, just there to enjoy the music, there for the right reasons. Yeah, like you said, there to let loose and just have a good time. Yeah. So I think that's it. And not spraying people with champagne, ideally, or blowing cigars in their face. And then I think you're a pretty good raver.
Yeah, it's not that hard, really.
It's not that hard. Don't be a dickhead and you'll be good.
Don't be a dickhead.
Don't be a dickhead.
Well, thanks, Lara. Thanks, Baldy. If anybody else has anything to talk about, topics, places they've been, raves they remember, people from the raves they remember, anything in the subject of going out, partying, whatever it is, send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Keep sharing with your mates. Sweet, sweet listeners. We adore you and love you. And Lara, I love you even more.
I love you, and I'll speak to you soon. See you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.